Welcome, I am Chef Jenny, and welcome to Homemade Cooking. I am gonna be your instructor today, and woo, we got a good one. We are making blackened shrimp and pesto quinoa bowls. That sounds good. All my favorite words in one. It's gonna be a good one today. And of course, I'm not here by myself. I've got my trusty co-host who's really in charge, Chef Kat. Hello, Chef Kat.
Hi, Chef Jenny.
Are we feeling quinoa? I'm feeling quinoa.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I love interesting grains and things that are just I don't know. It's just you can do so much with quinoa. You can do so much with quinoa.
Only so many times I can make rice or pasta. I need new stuff. This is gonna be, honestly, I find easier to make than rice. Rice and I are still trying to figure things out. I still have to measure water for rice. And quinoa, it's pretty sturdy. What is so great about class today, other than this delicious recipe we are making, is that we've got friends here today. Our incredible friends from Providence, Swedish, specifically Megan, who's a registered dietitian. Hello, Megan. Give her a good homemade welcome. First up, starting off, quinoa. It is pronounced quinoa, okay? So I've got it right here. Let me see you top down. It's this beautiful grain that actually is a seed. It's a seed that comes from a plant that's really indigenous to South America. So quinoa does not come from wheat. So this is a great starting off point because it is gluten-free. So if you have anyone gluten-free in your life, or I know I love to host a dinner party, but then sometimes I always need a carb. I'm one of those people. It's hard to kind of get what kind of gluten-free can I do. This is gluten-free. So it's very popular and available in the stores now, and it is a superfood. It's incredibly nutritious. So Megan, talk to us. One of the biggest things about quinoa that's a huge bonus is that it is a complete protein. What does that mean? For the layman, what does complete protein mean?
Yeah, you kind of hit on that when you were saying quinoa is not actually a grain, it's a seed. It's a seed of a broadleaf plant, so we have a different kind of protein profile here. Getting into the weeds, talking about protein, we have to say things like amino acids, which are the individual building blocks. So complete protein just means that all of the amino acids are present. So it works for some people who might not all have all foods available to them. And another similar grain I might say is amaranth. It's also a seed. It has a very similar texture and nutrient profile.
So I've started some water here. Making quinoa, really easy. And if you make rice, you can absolutely make quinoa. And even better, you can make quinoa in a rice cooker. What is very cool, I love botany and science and this kind of stuff. Quinoa naturally has kind of a bitter compound on the outside of it to deter insects from getting to it. But the flip side of that is that quinoa really needs to be really well rinsed. When you buy it in the store, it's pretty well pre-rinsed, but it's always worth it to put it in a strainer, just like you would do rice, and rinse it. Give it a good rinse. And then, which I've done with this quinoa here, and we're looking about a 2-to-1 ratio. So I've got 1 cup quinoa here, then I'm gonna do about 2 cups of water. So I'm gonna do about that much. Put a little extra in here just in case I spilled some, because that's how I roll. So I could be done here, but I always like to be a little extra if I can. I have a bay leaf. This isn't even extra to me. Most of us have this in our spice cupboard. So I'm adding a bay leaf in here. I've got a ton of garlic lying around. I just smashed 1 clove. And then just for seasoning, a small pinch of salt. Just as small. You can absolutely omit this, especially if you're trying to be mindful of your sodium. And then a few grinds of pepper too, because peppercorns are gonna add us a little bit of flavor. If you make your own vegetable stock and have it no sodium, again, we just wanna be mindful of how much salt we're using. That could be a great addition in here because that quinoa is just gonna suck it up and get all of that flavor in. So I'm gonna bring this to a boil, reduce it down to a simmer, cover it 15 minutes. 15 minutes. I love my brown rice, but that can take up to like 40, 45 minutes. I don't have a rice cooker. I'm not fancy. So it can kind of go rogue on my very old stove. So I love it 15 minutes.
So we want this to absorb all of that water then.
Yeah, it's going to be fluffy. If you've ever made couscous, it's kind of the same technique where you run it, it's going to cook, it's going to steam a little, and then we're going to fluff it with a fork. So I'm bringing it up to simmer now. I've got a good boil here, and now I'm going to reduce my heat and cover it, and now we're going 15 minutes. We've got to swap out, but Chef Kat, if you can keep me mindful, keep me honest about that 15 minutes.
I got you.
After that 15 minutes, we're going to turn it off. We're not going to open it. We're just going to let it sit for about additional 5 minutes. It's going to kind of do some additional steaming off the heat. So we're talking 20 minutes here. This is plenty of time to make everything else. So as this is cooking, we get everything else done. And this is how we can do dinner in 30 minutes. Love this. What I also love is that it can sit in the fridge next day, especially if you put like this pesto dressing on it. It's just going to soak it up and marinate and get even more concentrated flavor. So as we are, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but like Memorial Weekend, which is the unofficial start of summer, is next month. Like we're knocking on its door. I know we just got spring, but we are in that time where, depending where you live, the weather's getting nicer. A good picnic option. Potluck option. Just putting it out there, marinate on it, think about it. I think it's a good idea. I like it. So, quinoa, done. Done. That's it. Going on over here to our shrimp. Okay, we love shrimp. I understand. I did not grow up. I grew up in a little landlocked area in the Central Valley of California. There was not ocean close by. So I understand if you don't grow up with seafood, it can be a little overwhelming to buy it. We love talking about seafood and busting that myth, especially because seafood, especially shrimp, it's a lean protein option compared to, like, say, red meat. So it's great to incorporate in your diet. We've got some shrimp here. These were frozen. Frozen is totally okay. If the quality, especially if you can't get quality fresh, these are going to be flash frozen at their peak freshness. So you can get almost better quality depending where you live from the frozen. No shame in frozen. We want everyone to enjoy and get excited about cooking here. So please, 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 no shame there. What we did do, though, is we could only find the shell on and vein in once. If you get shell to vein, they're ready to go. But there's no reason not to feel intimidated by that, should I say. I just, with my hands, was able to peel the shell off, and then I twisted off the tail. If you kind of twist off the tail, the shell comes with it. And then along the back, this is great to do with a paring knife. You can run the paring knife on the back. There's a little vein here, intestinal tract. You just take your knife, pull it out. It usually comes out in one. If you have a bowl of water, that's the easiest to use because you just rinse it out and it comes right out. Chef Kat, I believe that's a trick you've been around here of taking out. Mm-hmm. Chef Kat's had to devein some shrimp in a pinch. Mm-hmm. Very easy to do. So we love that, and then they're ready to go. I do have these on a towel. The reason is that we are going to sear these. We don't want to use a lot of oil, so we're trying to be mindful here of how much fat we're using. So by putting them on a paper towel or a kitchen towel like we have here, that water gets absorbed. And then having these be dry, they're going to get a better sear on them, especially with frozen shrimp. Frozen shrimp in a bowl of water, not hot water, but like cold water, will defrost in 10 minutes. Please do not leave it on your counter for 5 hours. That's not what I mean. I mean, we're talking 10 minutes here. We have food safety. So frozen shrimp, great to go. If you're buying fresh, here's what you want to look out for. All seafood, it should never be slimy. The eyes, if they do have the eyes on, should never be cloudy. It should smell fresh and clean, like the ocean. If it smells very pungent, fishy, that means stop. Do not go anymore. You good fresh seafood should smell really clean. We always encourage you to talk to your fishmonger, who's ever working the seafood counter, introduce yourself. They're people too. It's great to get to know them, to understand, and just ask them what's fresh today. How's the shrimp looking today? I've got some blackening Cajun seasoning here. I'm gonna just sprinkle this all over the shrimp and toss it in. I've got about a tablespoon. There are mixes at the store that you can buy. One of the things I encourage you to look at is the ingredient statement. See how much sodium's in there. If salt is the first ingredient, then I encourage you, got some seasoning, got myself a little seasoning. I encourage you to maybe look for a sodium-free one. Okay, so how do you make it at home? Two of the biggest are cayenne and paprika or smoked paprika. Because of that bright red, then when you sear seafood or any kind of protein in Cajun seasoning, then that's gonna get kind of dark and blackened because the spices really get dark. I love blackening seasoning. I love that Cajun seasoning. It has so much flavor. So kind of a standard one that you would get would have garlic powder, you would have onion powder, cayenne pepper, smoked paprika or paprika. We've got oregano, we've got thyme, we've got black pepper. You can even get basil. I'm gonna get my shrimp over here and just give them a good toss in this. And what's even better, I've got my homemade one here and a little salt, but you get to control the salt, which is what I like about making this. I'm gonna even do a little more seasoning in here. I'm going for it. We're getting all the seasoning in. And this is about 1 pound of shrimp that we're doing for these bowls. If you don't like the spice of cayenne, there's no way we can force you to do it. You don't have to do it. But even a little bit, I challenge you to think about it because it's got a lot of flavor. And I'm gonna use a non-stick pan to get the little sear on these. That way, we're trying to do mindful, healthy cooking. Non-stick will help reduce the amount of fat that we have to use in the pan. So I'm just gonna give my hands a little wash here. And then for shrimp, what's great about shrimp is that they cook really fast. Have you ever had a rubbery shrimp? We've all had a rubbery shrimp. It's happened. It's no one's fault. It happens. Well, it's someone's fault, but we don't want to throw them under the bus. Whoever was cooking it, but look, fast, only a couple minutes, because shrimp, the second they're overcooked, they start getting rubbery, and they're going to continue to cook a little bit as we take them out. So we're talking 2 to 3 minutes total. We're just going to put a little bit of olive oil here. Depending on your pan, you can use cooking spray too. We do not want to drench these. We're trying to be mindful. I'm going to give this a minute to warm up, and then we're going to get them in our pan.
What setting heat do you have it on?
I'm going about medium. It's about high and quick. And that's how you get that blackening, because it's the seasoning kind of almost charring on there. And you get that really intense spice flavor. It doesn't have to be spicy, but it's spice. It's good stuff. Maybe go one here. I mean, I don't know what you couldn't put this blackened shrimp on that wouldn't taste amazing. Like tacos over brown rice.
Blackened shrimp on just salad, honestly.
Blackened shrimp on salad. We've all had salad. Salad's great. We know what's great for us. It can get a little redundant, or it can seem like a boring option for a dinner. But if you put blackened protein on it, whew, got a party. It's a good time. I want this to get high heat here. We want to sizzle, so that's what I'm looking for. Going, going, going. Getting hot. All right. There we go. And we don't want to overcrowd the pan, so this probably would be 2 batches. Just because if you put all of the shrimp and your pan isn't big enough, what happens is that they're going to steam. And we don't want to steam the shrimp. We want to get a good sear on them. There you go. That's the sizzling I'm looking for. Good stuff. Like numbers, like out of 10, it's at an 8 right now.
It's at an 8.
But I'm definitely going to bring it down. Let me tell you, if you want to pepper spray yourself with all the cayenne in here, if you start smoking, you're definitely going to start coughing. So put the hood on. If you're cooking right now, I beg you put the hood on. That will help a lot. Let's get that going. Yum. It smells incredible in here. I'm going to peek quickly at our quinoa, see how she's doing. This dinner's coming together fast. So we're looking for pink and we're looking for char, but we don't want overly heavy smoky. It's a fine line. This is definitely not the time to go walk away. These will be burned. Blackened does not mean burned. It just means really toasted spices. Yes. Have you gone to New Orleans, Chef Kat?
No, I haven't, but it is definitely one of my food destinations.
I never had one bad bite of food.
I can't. Is there even bad food in New Orleans?
No, it's not. I ate it all, and there was nothing. It's just flavor.
My first experience of like Cajun and Southern food was when I moved up to the mainland. So,
because where are you from originally? Tell the
from
people.
Hawaii.
Tell the people.
Which, unsurprisingly, there is not a lot of Southern Cajun food in Hawaii.
What a great fusion restaurant that would be, though. Oh my gosh. Think about that, like blackened shrimp,
the fresh
yeah.
Cajun Hawaiian seafood.
Yes.
That sounds great.
Copyright that. We might have something. That actually would be amazing. Hawaiian Southern. So I've just inhaled spices. I am getting a good toast on these. You can see my shrimp is getting a good color on it. I don't want it burned right about there. Can you all see let me see. Hold on. Let's see if we can get it here. Can you see the darkened color on these? That's kind of what we're looking for, y'all. Not burned, but a good char. That's blackening. Yeah, this is what I want.
Could you talk about like more of the color changes that are going on here on the shrimp?
Yeah, we're kind of going from opaque gray to a pink. And then the seasoning is getting dark, but not fully black as if it's getting burned, if that makes sense. So what we're looking for, and also texturally as you're turning the shrimp, you're gonna feel them firm up. Firm shrimp means it's done. And that's when you have to be careful about it. And I think I'm here.
Be springy, but not rubbery.
I know that's an infuriating designation, but that's actually right. Springy, but not rubbery. You could see, oh, that's what we're looking for. We got this little char here, this beautiful char on the shrimp. That's what I want to see.
That's our timer for the quinoa.
This is why we do swap outs, you all. But if you started when I started, that was like your 15-minute timer to get it there. Most of the water should be absorbed, and then I would turn this off and just let it steam, for lack of a better word. Sit there with this cover on and steam. Let's see, oh yeah. Yum. And I didn't add any more olive oil in here. I'm doing okay. I'm really trying to be mindful and limit how much fat I'm doing. If you've got a good enough non-stick, you really would not have to add much of any.
And just high heat.
Just high heat. Oh, it smells insane in here right now. I can't even begin to tell you how good it smells in here. Hopefully, you don't look like you're getting gassed out.
It smells
Chef
absolutely
Kat.
delicious.
Okay. All right, we're getting there. So got our quinoa. The shrimp is going to be on top. Now we're going to make our salad fixings as we're going. First thing I'm going to start off with is a little red onion. Everyone out there, are you team red onion or no? I know this is a polarizing thing. I see you and I understand you. I've gone through my own personal struggles with it. I like a pickled red onion. And I like an onion that I'm doing right now. What triggers me is when I order like a burger or a salad and the proportion of raw red onion is way off, and that's all I'm tasting is red onion. And that's not a red onion's fault, and I need to stop blaming red onion for that. They didn't do anything. Oh yeah. I got to show you all this. Do you see this? Look at all that seasoning on there. When do you ever get shrimp that has that much seasoning? It smells incredible. So that part's done. Go ahead and take our pan off so it doesn't smoke me out any further. Okay, here's my red onion trick for y'all. I have some ice water. We're gonna use, really, you use as much or little as you want. I'm going about, just start off with a quarter red onion. Start off with a quarter. And I always like to keep my little end there because it helps keep the whole onion together. Sharp knives will keep you from crying. If you got that hood on for the seasoning, turn the hood on for cutting onions. I am going to do some little slippery part. Let's get that guy out of there. I'm going to do some large dice. And what I'm going to do is just get these large dice here. And then, yeah, that's a good amount. We could always add a little more. I'm going to toss this in the ice water. Raw red onion has got that heat to it that's really dominant. But by putting, and this can go for any onion, by putting it in the ice water, it's gonna mellow it out. I'm still gonna have some sharpness. I'm gonna leave it in here for about 5-10 minutes, but it's gonna allow it to be a team player, but not try to be the captain. Our shrimp is the captain, all right? So this is gonna be a nice little crunch and presence in the background. You can also just rinse these in a strainer for like a minute under the tap, and that can kind of do the trick as well. I'm gonna do some cucumber here, which we love cucumber. And hopefully you all know that, I think we go slices. I'm feeling slices for this one. Hopefully you all know that whatever veggies you got in the fridge right now, give it a shout out, y'all. Clean it out. You got stuff left over from the weekend? We love all the veggies. Veggies are great for us. This is great, this type of salad, to use up whatever produce you got in the fridge that you kind of don't know what to do with. Zucchini season is approaching quickly, where it goes from, I'm so excited, look how big of a zucchini I grew, to quickly to, I can't eat one more piece of zucchini bread, what do I do with this? So they kind of get really big and a lot fast. So
I swear I've seen zucchinis that were like, they weren't as round as a pumpkin per se, but there was like just as much like vegetable area as a pumpkin.
Yes. I had a coworker who had had a great green thumb, could grow them like this, where we sliced them in half and did stuffed boats with like a full pound of ground meat. So I just added some Cajun olives in here. So we have our olives, we have our cucumbers. I just toasted a little bit of almonds. Recipe says pine nuts. Honestly, whatever nuts you have at home, go for it. We love a little toasted unsalted almond. And then here's my little hack for slicing cherry tomatoes is I've got 2 deli lids here. You can use 2 Tupperware lids. I've got them here. You can put some cherry tomatoes in between them on one, put the lid over it, and very gently with your very sharp knife, press down and slice in half, and voila, I have all my cherry tomatoes sliced in half in one go. I feel like this is really impressive. People aren't allowed to clap here, but I do feel like this is like resume worthy. This is good stuff, you guys. Thank you.
I learned that hack too at work. It's changes your life.
It changes your life. I blew my mind the first time I learned how to do this. You know you're in a chef's house if there are deli lids around. That's kind of a marker of a chef. Also, if there's like painter's tape and a Sharpie just kind of hanging out in the kitchen, that's another sign. But like deli lids, this is our one of our most used tools here.
I have all those things in my kitchen.
You've got, I know you do. I do too. So we got our cherry tomatoes, and then I'll just add my red onions, and then we'll get going on our pesto. So we got our shrimp. Yeah, these are definitely mellowed out. Let's have a little bite. Sweet. I still have a little bit of the bite, but it's way more mellow. Way more mellow. We do not want it taking over. The saddest time a red onion takes over is in a pasta salad. When you're like, oh, I'm really excited about this pasta salad, and then it's just red onion. That's all you taste. All right. Because we want to give the option, what's great about this dish, it's gluten-free. Always we tell you, look at the instructions on your packaging, look at the instructions, the ingredients on your packaging, and to clarify, always confirm that it's gluten-free. But this recipe is easy to make gluten-free. So we're also trying to do dairy-free. Especially as we get older, I know a lot of people have issues with digesting dairy on top of allergies that exist out there. So it's always great to be able to make this dairy-free. We love pesto. We love it. But pesto does have Parmesan cheese in it. So this is an easy way. And if you want to make a pesto with Parmesan, go for it. But this is an easier way to kind of take away that dairy and give you that option. So we've got our mixer here, and we've just got some fresh, beautiful, bright basil that hopefully you are feeling encouraged to try and grow if you can. And here's our cheese. Here's taking the place of a cheese, is our nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast has got a lot of that concentrated umami flavor. It's actually made from yeast. It's just yeast that's not been deactivated by heat, and you've got all that flavor to it and dried and flake. It is amazing on popcorn. If you've never had nutritional yeast on popcorn, it's really, really good. We're gonna add a little lemon for some brightness. You can always add oh, this boy is big. You can always add the zest too. I kind of want to taste my basil. Sometimes too much zest can overwhelm it. So we'll start off with this. Of course, always taste and adjust. Got some seeds. One more. We'll do a little bit more. And then we've got some toasted walnuts. And please, Megan, tell us about, and you can use pine nuts as the traditional nut in pesto, but we had some really good walnuts here, so that's what we're using. Please tell us, why are walnuts such a great part of our diet?
So to start off, I want to say all nuts and seeds are a fantastic part of our diet. They're going to provide lots of fiber and protein and vitamins and minerals. But if we had to kind of choose one, walnuts
choosing favorites.
Our Nut Superstar Award, because they are one of the few that has omega-3 fatty acids. And this is a topic that we commonly talk about when we're talking about fish or seafood, because we want people to be getting these omega-3 fatty acids more often. Unfortunately, we're not really gonna find it in shrimp. We would see those omega-3 fatty acids in things like salmon, tuna, herring, trout, or mackerel. But we do have some plant options, and those plant options would be walnuts, ground flaxseed, chia seed, and hemp seeds.
All right.
So I would also be curious to make a pesto out of those hemp seeds or hemp hearts. I see them advertised as.
Absolutely.
That would probably be delicious.
And why are omega-3 fatty acids so important for our body and for our health?
This does kind of get into the weeds again a bit, but every single cell in our body has fats in it. It's a fat bilayer that keeps the cell separate from other things. And the type of fat that we eat changes the flexibility of that fatty acid bilayer. And so when we eat a lot of those saturated fat that comes from animal foods, you know, the red meat you mentioned earlier, that can make all of those cells more stiff and more rigid over time. You know, we have a whole lifetime to accumulate these fatty acids. Where the unsaturated fatty acids that we primarily get from plant foods, cooking with vegetable oils, eating avocados, eating these oily fish, they help keep our tissues more flexible over time.
Man, that was great. I think we will follow that. Also, I think the big thing to take away from here is that fat is good. That for health, we're not supposed to be no fat. I am a child of the 1900s. I survived the 90s when everything was fat-free, and it was a hard time. It was a hard time for all of us. So, this is such liberating to hear that no, fats are good. Just like there's ones that are better quality than others. So walnuts, all the walnuts. Handfuls of them. I love walnuts. So we thank you, Megan. That was amazing. That's incredible to hear. So this is good. This is the kind of information we love hearing in these classes because it's a lot. It's confusing. And then it's not about hyper-focusing on one thing. It's about the big picture of it all. Eating should be fun. We love eating. It's the best. So speaking of eating the best things, pesto, I've got all my players in here. I've got my lemon juice, my basil, those walnuts with our omega-3s that we love in here that I toasted a little bit. I've got 3 cloves of garlic. And now I'm just going to pulse this, and then I'm going to stream in some good quality olive oil in here. So just to get it going. And then I'm going to start off with about half my oil. And then kind of see how much I want to use as it's going. I want it to bind together. What's nice about not having cheese in here is a lot of times the cheese can tighten your pesto and make it really firm. And by just drizzling in some oil here, that's going to keep it nice and smooth and not kind of have that clumpy texture. And just a couple more pulses. And then I'm going to season a little bit with salt and pepper. If you've not worked with nutritional yeast before, be careful about how much salt you add. You might be surprised you don't need as much as you think because you kind of have a ton of flavor from that nutritional yeast, and it kind of takes that place of salt. So just a few grinds of fresh pepper. And then a little bit more drizzle. We're looking for kind of a smooth sauce consistency because it does need to act as our dressing, but we don't want it to be soupy. I think that's our bit there. So I didn't use all the olive oil in the recipe. It kind of depends on how much you're using of your herbs. It smells fantastic. And also, you have some parsley, throw some parsley in there. You have some dill, throw some dill. Again, just like the salad can take all the produce, pesto can take all the herbs. Give it a little taste here. It's pretty good. I really don't need that much salt. I'm just going to add a little pinch. That nutritional yeast is really flavorful. A little pinch, a little pinch, a little pulse. Nope, it's the other way. Every time, this is like a Mensa exam, this little pulser. Every time, y'all. All right. So now we've got this beautiful pesto, this green, if you can see. Look at that. I'm going to squeeze a little lemon over the top, just as I'm assembling my salad. If you're going to let it sit longer in the fridge, a little dousing of olive oil over the top too will help keep its color and keep it from oxidizing. So just pour this into our bowl. Lovely. We love the color of that. Nice and green. And we're not using all of this. We're going to use about 1/4 cup to stir into our quinoa salad here. You can always have a little on the side to put on top with our shrimp.
How would you store and keep this after then?
Pesto is one of the most beautiful sauces that freezes. It freezes so well. I always freeze it in ice cube trays and then put a little lemon juice, a little olive oil over the top. And then once they're frozen, I pop them out into pucks in a freezer safe bag. That way I can take as little or as much as I want. It lasts a couple months in the freezer. So it's nice during the summertime when basil is in season to just make huge batches of pesto. I would store it with oil and a little acid over the top. Let me see if you can get that. Ooh, look how good that looks. Store a little oil and acid on top in the fridge. Let's last several days. It does not last long in my house. All right. Our quinoa is done. After it's done, you want to take a fork and just kind of fluff it up. There's a little white string that pops out after it cooks. That's just the germ of the seed. No worries, that's our friend. Don't worry about it. And then I have a little swap out here. You want to take out your bay leaf if you're using any aromatics that you used. I have a garlic in here somewhere. If you want to add that garlic in with your pesto, go for it. So let's just take this away. The best part, assembly time. Okay. I'm gonna add, and I've cooled this down a little, but you can add it in warm. If you add it in warm, it'll just kind of heat up and soften those vegetables. I actually like it more, I like those vegetables a little crunchier and firmer. So I'm keeping it nice and cold and crisp. And again, you can make this the day before if you want. And then we've got about 1/4 cup of pesto in here. I am eyeing it. But just gonna stir that around. So we have the saltiness from those olives, the crunch from the nuts. We're gonna get a crunch from the cucumber. The acid from the pesto and the salt is gonna draw out some of the moisture from the tomatoes, and it's gonna release our juice and kind of create a dressing over. If you want to add some more lemon over here, you can. A little splash of red wine vinegar I think would be really nice here and well if you felt like you needed more acid. I'm just gonna add a couple turns of pepper, and then I'm gonna tear some fresh basil leaves into here. Now this is dairy-free at this point. We have some crumbled feta. If you like dairy, you want that bit, you can sprinkle a little on the top or fold it into the salad. I'm just gonna save it for the serving at the end and let people be able to customize whether or not they want that dairy. What I like about using feta, if we're trying to use more mindful cooking, it's got a very concentrated, sharp flavor. So you don't need to use a lot of it. A little bit goes a long way. Oh yeah.
I love all of the colors in this. It's so pretty.
I'm gonna do a little bit more pesto, a little more. The colors are beautiful. This says spring, summer to me. Asparagus would be really lovely in here. If you charred or roasted it and then sliced it up and added it in, lovely. And that's our salad, and this would only get incredibly concentrated as it sits. We've got our serving bowl here. Just add in the salad. Can you imagine showing up to a potluck with this? What a flex.
That looks great.
And then you just kind of casually mention that it's super healthy, got all the complete proteins in it, got those omegas in it. And you're just like, oh yeah, it's got omega-3 fatty acids, like nothing, and just walk away with your beverage, like yeah. We've got our beautiful shrimp that we're just gonna put over the top. Oh, this shrimp smells insane. All those spices. Well, this looks like a magazine shoot now. I get suspicious when things look this good. How could it be healthy? This isn't, how could this possibly be healthy? It's too pretty. This is the fun part where you get to have fun arranging all the shrimp
This is
over
like,
it.
honestly though, my favorite kind of food. Just like
Right.
stuff that's super good for you and like is packed with vegetables, but it doesn't feel like you're just eating a salad.
And also I'd feel super satiated after eating this. Again, just a green side salad not the most exciting day, but this, and I've got a little bit of the shrimp juice just pouring over the top. And then if you want, you can sprinkle some of the feta. I would also just do a little more basil over the top. And then that's our beautiful shrimp, blackened shrimp quinoa salad with fresh chopped veggies and a fresh made pesto. Come on. Look at that. Oh no, my shrimp. Oh, all right. Now's the hardest part, y'all. Doing the taste test. Someone's got to do it. It's hard, but I do this for us. The question is, which is the best shrimp? I like this one with a lot of seasoning. And then if you want just a little bit of that feta over the top, you can. Beautiful. Ho-ho. Cheers to you all who are cooking at home. Thank you so much for being here. Come on. It tastes so fresh. Ooh, I just got an olive. The saltiness from the olive. Yeah. Insane. Wrap it up. Call it a day. Oh. Something about post-weekend, just eating something really fresh and crunchy. Love it. What a great recipe. What a fun class. Thank you all for being here. Until next time, everyone, keep on cooking. Thanks for coming.